towards me.
Sorry?
Come on towards me. Not too fast. Turn around and look back at the house. Okay, you can come up to me now. And, nice and loud, tell me who you are.
I'm Janice Wing. I'm chairman of the Friends of the Lundy's Lane Battlefield. I'm also an alderwoman in the city of Niagara Falls.
Louder, Janice.
I've been here for the past couple of days with Kim Cody, another heritage activist, and we've been trying to rescue some of the heritage materials from this building to be used as an interpretive center on the Lundy's Lane Battlefield at a future date. This floorboard I have here is one of the original pine floors, we believe. You can see the pit saw marks on it. There's beams inside which are 9 inches by 7 inches. You can see the adze marks where they were hewn many, many years ago, probably over 200, as we think we've identified the earliest part of the house, which was, of course, built by the Loyalist William Lundy. We think this is the last Loyalist house standing in Niagara Falls, and it has a special meaning to me because I'm also involved with the Colonel John Butler branch of the United Empire Loyalists.
Okay, why do you have that piece of wood?
There's Loyalists, there's a Lundy descendant who lives here in town. She started writing letters 2 years ago, trying to save the house, and of course to no avail. A number of people have been working on this behind the scenes, but I want to take this as a present to her. We pried it up yesterday trying to get the board next to it, and it wasn't what we wanted, so we left it. But this morning I thought I'd take it out as a gesture for her.
Have you taken other artifacts in the place?
Oh yes, of course. There's all the pediments from above the doors and windows that we've been able to get off so far. Door frames, windows, a lot was gone by the time we got here.
Okay.
A local heritage resource consultant had been in and bought some stuff earlier, we understand.
How do you feel looking at it now?
Sad. Just sad.
Okay. Spell your last name, Janice, first and last.
First name Janice, Janice, last name Wing, W-I-N-G.
And you're what with the city?
I'm an alderman with the city of Niagara Falls, but I came to prominence in the community as a heritage activist. I led the fight for the Lundy's Lane Battlefield, and I've been involved with other heritage groups as well.
How does it feel? What's the sentiment around town about this?
Oh, there's been people coming to try and get souvenirs, people coming and taking pictures. The whole community is upset about it, but somehow that just doesn't seem to be quite enough. You know, we need money, we need land to put these buildings on, we have to be able to move them and restore them. You know, unfortunately, you know, public will sometimes just doesn't add up to enough to save a place.
Okay, I'm just gonna have you walk by me, okay? Just a minute.
Okay, hang on, let me get my hair.
Okay.
But I've never worn one before these last couple of days.
Thanks, Janice.
said they may later do it. Oh, they're gonna do it today.
Oh, yeah.
Name?
My name is Kim Cody,
Spell your last name, Kim.
C-O-D-Y.
Okay, what's your interest in this house?
Well, I'm a member of LACAC, which is a local architectural conservation advisory committee for the city of Niagara Falls. And I like old houses.
Okay, and how many in this group or how many people have shown interest in this place?
A lot of people behind the scenes, and LACAC's been involved since the beginning, trying to somehow or other either incorporate the structure into the new development, and that couldn't be done. So our last recourse was to hopefully salvage some of the interior trim, and today we're here to collect some of the beams, which are 9 inches by 7 inches wide, that have been hand hewn. You know, there's 200 years of history here that's going down today.
So how do you feel about it?
I think Niagara Falls has had a lot of good things happen to it lately, but today isn't one of them.
Why?
Because this is a piece of our history here. That was a house that was a part of the beginning of Canada, and it's probably one of the last loyalist houses that we have in Niagara Falls.
What could have been done? Could anything have been done?
Well, more people perhaps could have, you know, made a comment earlier on and said, you know, let's save this house. Developers, if they could possibly somehow or other, it's money, it's the funding. We don't have the funding anymore. And private citizens can't fund redevelopment of these houses. I don't know, other municipalities have either moved the houses, that option wasn't given to us. You know, it's in a state of disrepair right now, and you know,
You said to me in a few words when I first got here, what? You are what today?
It's a sad day today. It's a sad day for Niagara Falls. I think a lot of people will feel it today. And I know a lot of people. We've had people come down from Toronto that couldn't believe the situation. I've had people call me at my house and say, you know, what's LACAC done about it? And you know, we're only a small group, and we need the power of the people to pull together to save these buildings, or we won't have any anymore. All we'll have is a bunch of big box stores, and I think the two can blend together. We just have to figure out a way to do it.
What was the history on this house? Very briefly.
Well, it goes back to late 1700s. It was the Lundy house, and Lundy's Lane consequently is named after it. It was also a infirmary during the war, and it's been an important building in Niagara Falls, and a heritage landmark is what it is.
When was it last lived in?
I believe approximately 5 years ago.
Anything more you want to say about it? Final words?
It's a terrible day today, and I wish I didn't have to be here to see this. And I hope to salvage what I can today for the history of Niagara Falls, and hopefully it can be used in that interpretive center in some fashion.
Kim, once more, spell your first and last name.
Kim, K-Y-M, C-O-D-Y.
And you're with?
Niagara Falls, LACAC, Local Architectural Conservation Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
You're welcome. insulation up there.
Yeah, this came down out of the attic. It's, looks to be about 1936.
1936.
Okay, I was estimating 20s, but yeah. 33 cents for a 7-pound bag of pastry flour, 25 cents for baking powder.
Just hold it up, Kim.
Gotta find something even older for you.
Yeah. Let me see the woman's face. Turn it towards me a little bit more. Just hold it. Thank you.
Running around. See you, Mitch?
Victorian pediment from
Is it?
from 1890s, yeah. And hopefully we'll recycle it.
Okay.
Business?
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody here is aware of the demolition of the Lundy House last week, and I just have a few comments to make. With its loss, we lost the last Loyalist built house in the city of Niagara Falls, and I don't think I need to remind you that the Loyalists were the first settlers in this area. Very little is left here now of our community's earliest history, so I think this is quite a bit of a loss. It was associated with the Lundy's Lane battlefield as well. Apparently Catherine Lundy served milk and water to the troops as they were passing on their way to the battlefield, and some of the wounded were conveyed there after the battle. It's too bad it couldn't have been preserved somehow and tied in with the future battlefield park that's to be developed. There were a number of people involved at the last minute in trying to rescue some of the heritage fabric, and I'd like to especially mention Kim Cody of the Niagara Falls LACAC, whose efforts were absolutely tremendous, and Ryan Hanlon of the Pelham LACAC, who came in and gave us all sorts of advice and really taught us a lot. It was quite amazing pulling down a ceiling panel and looking up behind it and seeing hand-hewn beams, 9 inches by 7 inches, the adze marks all over. And another ceiling panel we pulled down, and there was accordion lath from the 1830s to 1850s period. And what there was were building materials that are no longer available. There were building techniques that haven't been used in decades. And this would have been an excellent opportunity to have a real learning center, museum showing us these old materials and techniques. With regards to what was saved, I'd like to thank Adele Khan and Mario Seminara and the other staff who helped providing storage advice. etc. I should also note that it didn't fall without notice. There was an awful lot of media attention. This went Canada-wide on CFTO TV on Friday. There was in-depth coverage in the Toronto Star, and unfortunately, this all cast Niagara Falls in a rather unfavorable light. I know there was people coming down from Toronto saying, wow, I can't believe this was happening. Like, how can you let this go? I'd ask that in the future, when proposals to protect what's left of our heritage properties are brought to council, that you will remember what happened and how important it is and support them. And I think Alderman Farron probably also has some comments. Thank you, Your Worship.
Well, first of all, you're right. This does cast the city in a negative light, and I think it's totally unfair. I think that the city has been very responsible, particularly in the last few years. And what always amazes me is when property is acquired, all of a sudden everybody gets into a panic. That place has been sitting there for how many years? Vacant. Everybody has neglected it. Nobody identified it. Nobody said, let's move on this 10 years ago or 15 years ago. It all becomes hysteria when we get the bulldozer on the property when it's really too late. And of course, this was private property, and when somebody acquires it, they have the right to do what they want. And it's unfortunate that somebody doesn't identify. And I know that Sherman Zavitz was here a few weeks ago and said he's going to come in with a log identifying historic properties so that we know where they are and we can react, and you can identify these and identify them as heritage properties, and then you can have some control over them. This last-minute stuff, which constantly happens, is really unfair, and I think that we're being put in a light which is not realistic, and that certainly when things are brought to this council in a reasonable manner with some timelines involved, they've reacted to this, because I don't think that this council is insensitive to our heritage and to historical structures, and I think we've demonstrated that in the past. But that property was there for many, many years. It was totally neglected. In fact, it would have been very, very difficult, from what I understand, and from the LACAC committee indicating that it would be very difficult to try and restore, move, or do anything else with that property. So it's all right to point the finger, but I think it was unfair. Anyway, we have somebody else, Alderman Farron.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, Your Worship. I was at the site too, along with Janice, as you probably all know. I would like to commend Tipperman Demolition for the work that they did, because with a clam that size, it's very hard to save anything in a building that old. And that operator of that machine was just fantastic. Under my direction of what he could pull out, he pulled out. He sufficed everything that we asked him to do for. As far as the developer on the property, I understand from certain people that he said that anything they wanted off the property, they were welcome to take off that property, because the stuff that they took, he didn't have to dispose of. So I don't fault the city or the contractor on that. I agree with you 100% what you said, that property has sat. The last known residence that I know of was 8 squirrels and 4 raccoons that ran out when we started demolishing the place. Sad to see that, but that's what happened. And I'm very disappointed that the city's name was defaced over something that we had no control over, as you said, was private property. And I'm very upset that people would think this of Niagara Falls, because I know Niagara Falls is not like this. I just wanted to state that.
Thank you. There's somebody else over here.
Yes, Your Worship, I know you probably have taken action on this, but condolences.
Well, let's finish this. Did you have another comment?
I did,
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry, Tony. With respect to your earlier comments, I was involved over the past year or so with the subcommittee of the Board of Museums. It was a sort of an ad hoc building inventory committee. I'm wondering if maybe we can have a resolution to direct the Board of Museums to continue with this and perhaps complete the effort. I know I'd recommended that they hire somebody under a job creation partnership.
The Board of Museums.
No, we can't do that.
We did it through the Board of Museums.
Mr. Zavitz was here and indicated that he was creating a list of historic structures and that had significant...
that was more historical than museum.
Okay.
That was through the Historical Society and not the Museum Board.
Right.
Your Worship, there was one through the Board of Museums. I was involved with it, as was Al Kurlovich, Mr. Zavitz, and Ron
Well,
Lowe.
maybe you can find out and bring it back to us at a subsequent meeting. That's fine. Yeah.